I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at the new Centrix from PSE Archery. It's new from 2020. It replaces the PSE Phenom. We're going to open them up and have a look at the new colours and have a look at what the bow's like. Hopefully get to shoot it. So, Phenom's been around for a number of years. It's designed for a budget level target bow. So it's above the Stinger price but below the Supra. So when I say budget, well, it's half the price of your top line target bows, but it's basically double the price of your beginner bows. So it's in the mid kind of point. So this is the purple. So what's different between this and the Phenom? You've got a plastic grip. This is new for PSE for 2020, and you're going to see the Supra Focus has the option of a plastic grip, so that's different. The cable guard system's the same with the one screw on the side here. Standard cable guard, plastic slider. So what's changed? You've gone to a 3B cam. This is a twin cam, so same cam, top and bottom, rotating module. So the module on the side to change the draw length. You'll see the numbers here. At the bottom here you'll see A being the longest and L being the shortest. Top and bottom has to be on the same number, same letter, and each letter is half an inch. So this cam is the same cam as they're using on the Drive, the Unleashed. Basically a number of their bows is using this cam. It's very similar to the Evolve cam system you'll see on the Supra Focus, the Performs, the Evokes. The major difference being there's no yoke system. This is a 3-track binary system. So one track here, one track here for which goes around the module, and one track here. So 3 distinctive rows. Now the way PSE balances the limbs on this bow, one is through moving the wheel left and right, and the other is through having different poundages on these limbs here. So if you look down at the bottom here, you'll see the poundage of each limb is labelled on the inside of the limb. Plastic limb pockets, which was the same as the PSE Phenom. Multiple sight pins up here. I was going to say this is for the part here for a 2-piece bow quiver, which now PSE don't have, so that's a little bit weird. You can fit your lower mount V-bar on the side here. Now if you're going to fit a V-bar, you've got to fit it on the front, so this is used here if you're going to fit just a single rear on the back. The weight of this bow is 3.9 pounds, so it puts it at the lighter end of the target market and definitely lighter end of all bows. 33 inches axle to axle and rated at 327 feet per second. The draw length is adjustable from 26.5 to 33 inches, so big adjustment in draw length. Now they also produce this bow in a short draw version called the Centrix SD. And that's adjustable from 23.5 to 26.5. Now the problem being, if you're 26 or 26.5, which bow do you go for? I prefer there to be a crossover, and the short draw doesn't have this massive draw length adjustment that the Centrix does. Now the grip, the plastic grip doesn't feel as harsh in coldness that the metal riser does. So you'll see a lot of people wrap their metal riser grips to avoid the temperatures and to stop the grip sliding. This grip I find is quite comfortable. I'll be interested to see if people take this grip off and shoot it without a grip. But the purple's quite nicely finished. Now I'm going to open up the other ones, but I'm going to show you the the Phenom. This is the Phenom here. The difference between this and this, well, the Phenom was actually a bit longer. It's a hybrid cam system, so the cam at the top and the cam at the bottom were actually different. with the yoke system at the top. Now people are going to say, well, what's better? And I'm going to say it's probably not going to make a lot of difference. With a twin cam system here, your top cam and bottom cam have to be in time. With the hybrid cam system, not so crucial, because on the inside you've got a round circle. So this was a bit like a single cam system. I'm going to say, look, they're pretty similar except for the plastic grip. Price point being the same. The Phenom or Centrix in Australia is going to sell for about $1,000. In America, around $700. Okay, things I would like to see improved on the Phenom and the Centrix. I'm not a huge fan of this cable guard system. It's only got the one knob holding it in. I prefer a different system, either a bolt-on like you see on the Super Focus or the Performs, or I didn't mind the little clamp system that PSE used to use, which was like a little clamp that used to clamp onto the rod. I didn't mind that. Not a huge fan of this. The string stop here is fine, which was the same string stop as featured in the Phenom. I would prefer metal limb pockets. Now people are going to say, well, there's nothing wrong with plastic limb pockets, just I prefer the metal. Even if it was $10 or $20 more expensive, I don't know how much more expensive it would be. I'd prefer the strings to be color matched to the bow. And I understand that may have a cost to it, but I just think if you're going to be selling a $1,000 bow, strings could match, and I don't think it'd be costing much more. So that are probably two major things I'd like to see improved. But I think this bow hits a nice point in the market, being for these bows are very popular with older people who are looking for a lighter bow, who don't want to spend the big, larger sums of money on the Super Focus and the Performs. And also the Super Focus is a heavier bow. So this bow is actually really popular for those people wanting lighter. Popular for kids growing from the Stinger upwards. So it's still lighter than the Focus, and it's a little step up from the Stinger in performance. So let's open up the other colors and have a look. The Platinum. Now the other thing I probably would prefer is that PSE had called this the Phenom. I think you lose the whole, when car companies and people change the names of a bow, it kind of loses its marketplace. Like the Stinger is always going to be the budget PSE line bow. The Super is a one down from the top line. The Phenom was basically the next step down. The silver looks really nice. It's a very nice finish. It's not shiny, it's kind of a dull, like a gunmetal finish. It's a nice looking bow. The balance on it, slightly top heavy, so when you fit a stabilizer, and with this bow this is designed for a target archer, so they'll be fitting stabilizers to this. I think it'll be balanced quite well once you fit the stabilizers. Now PSE has reduced their colors this year, so that's the purple, the titanium, this is the black cherry. Black cherry was hugely popular this year, 2019. Now that's pretty. Really pretty color. Phenom is not as popular in sales as a Super Focus, but still a relatively popular bow because it's filling a niche in the market, that being low priced and lighter. But nice bow. So with that, I'm going to fit some sights to this bow, RRS, and let's shoot this and shoot through a chrono and see how it performs. Okay, so one of the big questions I get is how much will this bow wind down in poundage? Now the Centrix allows 13 full limb bolts. Now depending on the bow and how much tension there is on the limbs, the amount of poundage will vary from bow to bow. So 5 full turns of this bow moved the bow from over 60 pounds, it was a little bit over 60, 61 pounds this was at full draw, at full poundage, to 51 with 5 turns, With 9 turns of the limb bolts, it went down to 45 pounds. So you've still got another 3 turns. So you're probably going to see poundage of around 42 to 60 pounds. So 20 pounds worth of adjustment on a Centrix. So I've just put a basic hunt inside on, a basic whisker biscuit, a D-loop. I'll wind this back up now and we'll shoot it. Well, I'll try and shoot it through the chronograph and see what sort of speeds we get. Okay, so we're outside ready to chronograph this bow, to chronograph the Centrix, and we're also going to try it. I haven't actually shot this bow yet, so this is my first shot with the bow. But I'm going to say I just wound this bow up and wound it down in poundage, and it was an effort. So I was using a big Allen key, when I say an Allen key, a big wrench with a big handle on it to do it. It is much easier when the manufacturers fit a bushing into the riser, like a metal sleeve, which can move backwards and forwards. It's like, honestly, PSE have got it on the majority of their bows, a metal sleeve in there. Most of the manufacturers have it now. This bow should have come with it. To me, it's such a big thing. It stops the risers stripping out. It would save PSE a whole bunch of warranty. I just don't see any reason why they wouldn't have put a bushing in there for the limb bolts. Such a simple thing, and it's such a grunt to wind this thing up and down in poundage. So for me, that was just a bit of a disappointment. With our first draw, we're just going to try the draw cycle of this bow. Now the arrows I'm shooting, these are gold tip. I use them for all my tests. They're gold tip, 400 spine, 90 grain point. They weigh 327 grains. So this bow will not get IBO speed. IBO speed is 70 pounds, 30 inches with a really lightweight arrow. This is 60 pounds, 29 inches. And these are the same arrows I use for all my tests. So it's a comparison of one bow versus the other. So I had a guy this week buy a 40-pound bow, 27 inches. I think the IBO on it was 320 or 314. And he goes, it doesn't hit IBO speeds, I'm returning it. And I'm just like, send the bow back. So anyway, it's so yeah, 70 pounds is IBO speeds at 30, I think it's 30 inches. So anyway, let's just try this. So to start off with the draw cycle, it's solid to start with. Solid, starting to get easy here. Starting to get easier. And then it stops. So, you know when you draw back some bows, they kind of peak and they drop, and then there's nothing. This bow's not like that. It peaks fairly early, and then it's gradually dropping, and you don't even know you've hit the stop at the end. So the stop at the end probably feels like a 70% let off. And you're going to say, what is it, Stephen? It's a 75%. It probably feels like a 70% let off. So, but it's quite smooth. It'd be nice target bow to shoot. So let's just shoot this through the chronograph. So that's a very smooth draw. Now 297, that's not bad for a 7-inch brace height. You can see that was my first shot because the thing came off the string. The vibration was a lot better than I thought. The draw cycle is good. .298. Now with the tri-track system up the top here, if you get cam lean or tuning issues, you've got to move the cams left or right. So I'm just going to look at the cams, see if they're dead straight. Some of the bows who use this system, and let's just run off some companies who use the binary system or the tri-track system, companies like Elite, companies like Bowtech, companies like obviously PSE use it, Obsession, Expedition. There's a whole bunch of people using this cam system. So if you want that tunability, it's probably not the bow for you, but it's just simple. feels really good. I like 298. It feels really good because you're actually holding some weight, and when you get that shot off, you can feel your hands sort of come back, and you can feel your back muscle shooting. There's no vibration in the bow afterwards. So my initial summary of the first 3 shots I took with this, I think the bow looks good. I think it's probably priced around where it kind of would like to be in the market. I would obviously like to see the bow cheaper. I'd like to see all bows cheaper, but you know, it costs a lot of money to run a bow company and to pay all the staff and all that sort of stuff. The things I'm just going to go back on the things I would like to see improved. The cable guard, that I think that was about it. The grip feels comfortable to me. I don't mind the grip. It's definitely wider than the past Phenoms. It's wider than the Supras. So it kind of feels like the Perform as far as width, but it feels a little bit more comfortable because of this thing here. So I'm really comfortable with that. So with that, let's go and shoot some arrows with it. Unfortunately, I don't have my second camera here today because I'm kind of not that well organized. So let's go and twang some arrows and let's see how they shoot. Okay, so I've shot 4 practice arrows to get a sight seen in 18 meters, which is what I'm standing at. Now my first arrow was high in the target above, so that was fine. I moved my sight up. My next arrow was a 9, and it was at 2 o'clock. Next one was a 10, next one was an 8 at about 5 o'clock. So with that, I'm happy to shoot a group and see how it feels. Now I found I was getting a little bit of that in the shot afterwards. I'm going to say the grip wasn't great. Now that could be because I haven't been shooting a lot lately. So I'm not making excuses. I just find when I'm shooting really well, when I do some of the reviews, the grips are much better. So let's just see how this feels. But the draw cycle, love the draw cycle on this bow. Love it. Love the way it releases. The grip. The grip, I'm going to question whether it's going to be too fat for the people with smaller hands, like ladies and kids. And this bow is aimed at ladies and kids, so I'm really going to question what this bow is like without the grip, and maybe I'll take this grip off and shoot a couple of shots with it without the grip. For me, it feels good. I think probably beginners are going to prefer the grip because it feels chunkier, if you know what I mean. Lots of people grab a new bow without a grip and they go, oh, that feels a bit thin, it doesn't feel comfortable in the hand. They like the more uniform feeling bows. So it will probably appeal to beginners. And by saying that, it's not that I hate the grip. I don't. I actually like it. I'm just questioning whether I'd prefer it to be thinner. In fact, out of all the bows I shoot, and I have shot, this feels really comfortable as far as the draw cycle. The whole aim unit just sits there in the middle. So I think, for me, comparing to other bows, like it obviously competes against a Drive XL, which has been discontinued by PSE, compares against the PSE Bow Madness. In fact, it's really a PSE Bow Madness in taupe colors, which begs the question, why is it more expensive than the Bow Madness? Does beg a big question. Obviously I do these videos and I don't have it scripted, I just talking off the top of my head. The Drive is about a $700 bow. It's got the same cams, but this is a machine riser, so now the bow feels light. It feels, especially when I get back there in holding position, because I've only got 70%, the bow physically feels light. And it might be because my target bows weigh a ton with all the weights over them, but it feels very, very light. So we'll just shoot one more, then I'm going to take this grip off. Well, I'll go down and show you what the grips are like. I like this bow, I really do. Straight up, I like it. I don't know what my grips are like down there, but I like it. I like the way it feels. You can see it getting a bit of that. Now with stabilizers, that will go out of it. But it feels good. Let's go down and see what feels really nice to shoot. Let's go down and see how it. Okay, so I'm up here at the target. This is the group. I can get my fingers easily around the group, no question at all. Like, I've got 2 8s which are touching. The group's low, you know, at about 7 o'clock. But my fingers easily around the group, and that's what I generally do at 18 meters to see how I'm grouping. So that's an excellent group. So if I had my sight adjusted, that'd probably be all 10s. So that's pretty good. I'm shooting Victory VAP arrows here. These are really durable arrows. You can see how hacked my arrows are, how old they are. I'm shooting 140 grain points. So I get asked questions about the 140 grain points versus 110. 140 is just a little bit better in the wind. So if you're shooting high wind, 140 would be better. If you're shooting field, you'd probably drop down to the 110s, 100 grains. But they're really durable. I haven't really broken any, and the pins are just like, I shoot off heaps of nocks. But you'll see I've got heaps of arrows without pins, without nocks, just because I shoot them off. But I'm very impressed as far as that grouping. But I shot really well with the drive too, I think. One of my customers came in, I said, I think I shot pretty good groups today. He said, no, you shot crap. So anyway, go and check how I shot in the other groups, but that's a good group. Happy with that. And like I said, I haven't been shooting much lately, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now what I do want to do, which I don't normally do, and I'm just going to do this because I've got a paper thing set up, I'm going to paper tune this. And the reason I'm going to do that, because I know these arrows should shoot fine. I've just put a D-loop and a whisker biscuit on. I'm kind of interested, just out of the box, how this thing paper tunes. And yeah, that's different than my normal reviews, but I've got this set up, so let's just do it. I haven't pre-planned any of this, so this could go arse-shaped for me. And you can see all the tears in it before from someone who's been doing paper tuning. It's been absolutely horrific. That was a recurve, I think. So we're gonna just shoot through paper here. And I'm just interested to see the tear I get, because with these cams, you know, it's a matter of, you know, I could move my bow left to right and all that sort of stuff, arrows, but this is straight out the box, literally feed D-loop on it, whisker biscuit. Hopefully it's all right. So I'm kind of interested to see just how it is. Some of the bows I set up one the other day for a guy who came in from Port Pirie, Greg. And we paper tuned it, and it's just perfect. I was like, oh, thank you. And he went home and shot his personal best. I'm like, thank you. And it makes you feel good when that happens. So sometimes it doesn't happen. So well, now that was not good. This is the tear here. And the tear's like tails out to the left. Yeah, so that's not a good tear. Tails out to the left. So with that, I could experiment, and just because I'm here, I'm going to move the rest in a little bit. Now with my personal bow, I tend not to even paper tune really. In fact, just before the Nationals, I shot it through paper the night before just to see how it was, and it was perfect, and I'm like, oh, that was lucky. Thing with shooting through paper, if it shoots the same every time, it's going to shoot the same arrow every time. So this is me moving the rest in. Now that paper tear would suggest you should move in the other direction, but I can't see how this rest would move in the other direction. So that would be, I think when the tear's out to the left, you follow the cams in that direction. So you should be moving the cams in this direction out to the left. And I did notice, and one of the reasons I did do the paper is I thought the cams were leaning a little bit to that side. So they're pulling down here, so moving across to that way would straighten them up. Oh, that was better. It actually pulled it in a lot. So it's got a triangle. I'm just going to zoom in at those two shots here. So I'll just zoom in. So sometimes with paper tuning, so this is the first shot and this is the second shot. So it's a finger width now in the tear. So if it doesn't move in the direction you want it to move, move your arrow rest in the opposite direction. So it's like not too bad. The height's pretty good. And I don't mind it come through with slightly high tear. They say you grip better with a slight tear. But with this bow, at this poundage, I'd be moving these cams to this side, shimming them. Now, generally with these, I'm going to try and zoom in. There's a whole bunch of washers here. You can see there's a fat one on this side and some little ones on this side. There's generally some thin ones. Now I found when I'm shimming cams, you just move the thinnest of the washers. So I'd be moving the thinnest of the washers from this side and moving it to that side. Not big washers, you move the paper thickness, and that's all it takes. Now if you find you get too much movement, you can just do one cam and not the other cam to get it spot on. That simple. Now the last thing I want to check is without the grip, because I found that grip a little bit wide. So, but I like the, and this is the thing, you know, like you saw the grip, that's just with a whisker biscuit, hunting sight, D-loop, and honestly, I shot better with that than I do my target bow with all the weights on it. Which gets you thinking, right? If you're fitting these expensive stabilizers to your bow and it's got a whole bunch of weight on it, why do you need that? In fact, I was in Vegas and I was shooting with this guy. He had a Matthews Triax, and when I did a review on it, it was horrible. Like, when I say it was horrible, I shot terrible with it. Both 28 inches axle, and I tend not to shoot very well with 28 inches axle. So here's your grip. You can see it's high on one side, it's high on the left hand side. Feels pretty good. That's without the grip. A lot of people are going to shoot this without the grip, I can tell you that right now. So that's without the grip. It looks good. It's shaped to be shot without a grip. Now I want to shoot this without a grip because to me it feels better without a grip. Okay, so for me this bow is clearly made to be shot without a grip, and I just want to shoot a couple of arrows and see whether I prefer it with or without the grip. I like some of the molding under here. It's kind of molded away, and I think that will feel quite nice. Kind of brings me back to the days, back in the old days, they used to make bows with grips and then they used to start taking the grips off to shoot them. It kind of brings me back to those days. Yeah, I prefer the bow without the grip. No question, the grip is narrower. This grip feels really comfortable without the grip. The bow feels really comfortable without the grip. The grip's nice, and I think some people will like the grip, but for me, I'd be shooting it without the grip. No questions. Still getting that out to the side a little bit. I just prefer it without the grip. So yeah, happy with. So happy without it. Now my grips down there will be terrible because I just moved my ROS. In fact, I don't know what they're like. But I prefer the bow without the grip. I'll just run down there and see what those grips are like. That was absolutely horrendous. That's in there and it's just blown out to that side. So my summary of that, I prefer the bow without the grip. I think the arrows out to that side, that was because I moved my ROS in for that paper tuning stuff. But overall, nice bow. I like the bow, I like the weight. I think for the market, it's placed right in the market. I would prefer the draw length for this bow, as far as the Centrix is concerned, to be more aimed at the ladies and smaller people. So I prefer probably 24 to the 30-inch draw length. And this one goes out to 32. I think at the start of the video I said it went to 33. So yeah, so for me I prefer 24 or 23 to 30. I think it would catch a lot more of the market. And yes, there is an SD version, short draw, which is 23 to 26.5. But I don't think that encompasses enough of the draw range you want for kids growing. But overall, nice bow, nice colours. PSE back you with service. If you ever have a problem, they just fix it. So with that, I'm Stephen Hand, and the more you shoot, the better you'll shoot. I hope that's been helpful. Thanks for watching. Bye.